on Fresh Gear, we head to LA for the Electronic Entertainment Expo, otherwise known as E3. It's the biggest, loudest roundup of all the new computer gaming hardware and software. We uncover the details of Sony's PlayStation 2. Does it live up to the hype? Plus, game controllers galore. We found accessories that will have you jumping, jiving, and swinging to your favorite games. And a new audio component that will bring MP3s from the computer into the home theater. This is E3, the Electronics Entertainment Expo. This is where all the new video games, consoles, and electronic entertainment devices are debuted to the world. Fresh Gear is here in LA covering the show. I'm Jim Lauterbach. So what's so cool about E3? Well, let's take a look. Check me out! No other trade show is quite like the Electronic Entertainment Expo. Every May, video game retailers, developers, and manufacturers descend upon Los Angeles to get a first-hand look at the hottest new products in the video gaming world and to see what their competitors are bringing to the market. E3 is the place for gaming giants like IDOS, Electronic Arts, and Sony to flex their muscles in both the console and PC arenas, just in time for the holiday buying season. This year, some 500 exhibitors unveiled almost 2,500 interactive software titles. But E3 is about more than just the games. Gaming add-ons and computer entertainment products of just about every description litter the floor as well. By far the biggest buzz on the floor is the next generation of gaming consoles. With the Sony PlayStation 2's release slated for this fall, peripheral manufacturers are already unveiling controllers and wireless accessories for the PS2. And although the Xbox won't be available until next year, Microsoft's X-shaped monolith has attendees lining up for a demo. And remember, Boleyn, the emulator developer announced a new line of products that will bring original PlayStation games to the Dreamcast console. They even claim to improve graphics, but we'll have to wait and see. From the cool to the practical to the eye, E3 is a wonderland full of the games and gear that you will not be able to live without later this year and next year. E3 is a big place for PC games, but it's also where the new gaming consoles are debuted. Now, the past couple of years, it's been all about Sega, Nintendo, and Sony, but this year there's a fourth competitor. Here's an update on the state of the consoles. The video game console is rapidly evolving into a multifaceted and multimedia entertainment appliance. Last year's launch of Sega's Dreamcast added a modem and hard drive to the traditional video game console. This year, Sony is matching that, plus adding DVD playback to the much-hyped PlayStation 2. And now, yet another contender for your entertainment dollar is pushing a next-generation console into this crowded market. Software giant Microsoft joins the fray with its first gaming system. Microsoft hopes the Xbox, still 16 months from shipping, will be the next big thing in console gaming. Although short on details and long on hype, they did promise that the Xbox will take consoles a step beyond PlayStation 2. Sega countered Sony by announcing a DVD-compatible version of their Dreamcast. In addition to showing the latest games, they also focused on online gaming via Sega.net. So what about Nintendo? While they didn't say anything publicly about their next-generation console codenamed Dolphin, we do know that Dolphin is scheduled to hit the market about the same time as Microsoft's Xbox. However, they did show off some awesome new games, including a sequel to Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and a new adventure game called Dinosaur Planet. Both games will be available in time for this Christmas. The console war is really heating up, with 4 major players all vying for your support. But ultimately, the winners will be determined not by the power of their hardware, but how great the games are. And it'll be up to you, the consumer, to decide who plays on and who goes home. Now, the Xbox sure demos well, but can Microsoft muscle their way into this market? We'll find out next year. Coming up on Fresh Gear, we take a first look at the new PlayStation 2 from Sony. You can get it in Japan now. You'll be able to buy it in the U.S. by the end of this year. And a brand new home entertainment console that moves MP3s from the computer into the living room. Welcome back to this special edition of Fresh Gear. The big news at E3 this year, PlayStation 2. You can buy it in Japan now. It'll be available in the U.S. by the end of the year.
here's our first look at this breakthrough entertainment console.
Hordes of excited fans quickly snapped up the PlayStation 2 when it was released in Japan earlier this year. Even more anticipation seems to surround the U.S. debut, scheduled for October 26th. Here at E3, Sony's great-looking new machine got a very enthusiastic reaction from industry insiders. With a sleek black design, the PS2 ups the ante on gaming consoles with an incredibly powerful video system. With a 300 MHz CPU, 32 megs of RAM, twin 3D graphics chips, a DVD drive, and USB ports, PlayStation 2 is outfitted much like a powerful PC. The US version will even include a hard drive as well. Designed specifically for media and graphics, this $300 system is faster than any gaming console, and the graphics even outclass current PC systems. We tested the PS2's gameplay with a copy of Ridge Racer 5. While this title did show off some of the PS2's potential, it didn't take advantage of the features we wanted to see, including full-screen anti-aliasing. Fans of the original PlayStation controller, the DualShock, will like the DualShock 2 included with the PS2. It feels and looks a lot like its predecessor. It's also both analog and digital, and includes built-in force feedback response. PlayStation gamers will be happy to know that their existing games will work with the PlayStation 2. Sony says there are over 50 native games that will be available by the end of December, and another 50 by the end of March. They claim 270 titles are currently under development. But it's more than just a gaming console. The PS2 is a full-featured DVD player, too. It looks and sounds great, rivaling the best standalone DVD decks we've tested. The PS2 also includes an industry first, a single laser that reads both DVDs and CDs. It doesn't have a wireless remote, though, which limits DVD playback. Sony will release one soon, and other vendors also plan to fill that gap. With DVD, gaming, a hard drive, and connectivity, the PS2 will become the center of many home entertainment systems.
Now, I've got a Nintendo 64 at home, and I really do like it. But I'm thinking maybe this fall I'll get one of those PlayStation 2s. They look really cool. But on second thought, I may just spend my money on the next version of Zelda for the N64. What a great game. It looks even better this year. Now, for more information about the consoles you've seen on today's show, or any of the console games we found here at E3, head up to our website. It's at freshgear.com, and there we've got reviews and first looks of all the great games and all the great hardware we found here. Now, the PlayStation 2 adds DVD playback to a game console. But what if you just want to play some games on your DVD? Well, here are a few more contenders for your home digital entertainment center.
The long-awaited and much-hyped Nuon Media Processor from VM Labs seems finally ready to ship inside set-top boxes.
This new DVD player from Toshiba is a little bit different from other DVD players you've seen. Why? It's built around a media processor called Nuon, a special chip that allows it to play games, down the road surf the internet, and do other things you wouldn't expect a DVD player to do. Now, this right here is a set-top box made by Motorola that will be sold by telephone companies, telco companies. What it'll let you do is surf the internet, download music, play movies, and other things. Now, both this and this have this processor in common that lets them manipulate the media to make it look better and work better inside your house.
The Toshiba player will be out in 3 months, and Samsung expects their player to debut in about a month. Each will cost around $350. The Nuon-equipped players can also run games and other programs designed for the Nuon. Hasbro plans on releasing Monopoly, Life, and other games for the Nuon platform, and additional titles are on the way. Voyatra's Turtle Beach division, the longtime maker of high-end audio cards, rolled out the most interesting device.
This is the Audiotron from Turtle Beach, and it's a new device that lets you bring your MP3s from your home PC right into the stereo in your living room. Here's how it works. It runs a version of Windows, Windows CE, and you hook it up to a home network. Turn it on, it connects to your home PC, finds all the MP3s on it, and brings them down and creates an index on here. When you want to play them, it goes back to your PC, brings the songs out over the network. Now, it also will pull in things like playlists and genres, so you can go through there as well, through a remote control, which means you can sit back in your easy chair and operate it. Very easy to use. Now, on the back, you connect it up to a home network, either running Ethernet, or it's got home PNA, which means you can do one of those phone line networks, too. To hook it up to your stereo, use the RCA plugs, which gives you an analog connection, or it's got an optical output, so you can hook it up to your surround sound processor, so you can go digital all the way from your PC right to your stereo.
At just under $500, it will be expensive when it ships this September, but it's the first device that makes it this easy to bring your MP3s right to your home stereo. But since the product of the hour was the PlayStation 2, Creative Labs rolled out a new set of speakers designed specifically for the next generation console. The super cool-looking Playworks PS2000 promises to provide simulated 5.1 surround sound with just a two-speaker unit and a subwoofer. Designed for up-close listening or small rooms, the $250 system has digital optical, coax, and regular analog stereo input. However, simulated surround sound is only available through the digital connection. On the noisy convention floor, it was hard to judge the sound, but we'll have a full test as soon as we get one in. Coming up, we round up the latest, fastest 3D graphics cards from NVIDIA and 3DFX, which will come out on top. And a look at new ways to make your gaming experience even more like reality when Fresh Gear continues from E3.
Welcome back to Fresh Gear. It's not only about consoles and great games here at E3, it's also about making your PC as fast as it can be. Here's a look at two new graphics cards that even give the best consoles a run for their money.
Each year, video cards get faster and better, and the competition between manufacturers is fierce. NVIDIA and 3DFX are constantly trying to one-up each other to see who can come out with the fastest product.
This is the Voodoo 5 5500, and it's the first 32-bit card from 3DFX. And as you can see, it's a big card. There's a lot of stuff on here. It's got two graphics processing chips, and of course, it's got two fans on it. I'm not sure if two fans are better than one, but it needs it. Why? Well, check this out. It requires its own power supply. You got to plug this in where you plug in your hard drives inside your system. That's weird. I haven't seen that on a graphics card before, but I guess if you need it, there you go. The nice thing is it's got a pass-through, so you don't have to worry about it. If you're down one or you don't have any, it'll still work. Now, inside, there's a bunch of stuff in here as well. 64 megs of RAM on the board. That's probably a little bit much, but it's nice to know it's there if you need it. It also does complete anti-aliasing of the screen. It gets rid of the jaggies. It's a nice idea, but if you're running first-person shooters like Quake, it tends to slow it down too much. We're going to give this card 3 out of 5 stars. It's $300, and it will be available by the end of May.
We compared the Voodoo 5 and GeForce, and the results were surprising. In first-person shooter games, the GeForce 2 easily surpassed the Voodoo 5 in our test. But when we compared a flight sim on both cards, they were equivalent.
This is the GeForce 2 GTS, and it's the new 32-bit card from NVIDIA. And boy, we like this card a lot for a couple of different reasons. First of all, it's much smaller, and it's only one chip. That's nice because it runs a lot cooler, and man, they crammed so much stuff in here. Great job. Also, no power supply, which also means it runs cooler. Now, as far as performance goes, it's roughly similar with that Voodoo 5 card. It actually gives you 1024, 768, 32-bit color, 60 frames a second. That's pretty amazing, especially on games like Quake. Wow, does it look good? No hesitation at all. Now, it also does that anti-aliasing that the Voodoo 5 does, and it's got the same problem. It only looks good at lower resolution, so if you like running first-person shooters, turn it off. But it is a nice thing. It is running in hardware, so it does look good at lower resolution. Also looks good on flight sims. We like the way that looks a lot. So one other thing we like about it, 32 megs of RAM on it. Now, that may not seem like it's as much, but it's good, and it's twice as fast. It's called DDR RAM. Runs twice as fast. Gets those graphics out to you much faster. Overall, we give the GeForce 2 GTS 4 out of 5 stars. It's also $300. It's the best-looking card out there, and it is available now. We also met with Matrox here at the show, and they have an interesting new graphics card coming out as well. We'll have a review of that as soon as we get our hands on it. Now, once you have a great game, what else do you need? Well, some controllers and joysticks so you can really interact with it. Here's a look at some of the interesting controllers we found at the show.
As games become more powerful and sophisticated, the controllers used to interact with them are evolving as well. There's no shortage of new innovative controllers designed to enhance your gaming experience. AirPlay 2's radio wireless dual analog and shock controller works with both the original PlayStation as well as the PlayStation 2. It also controls the PS2's DVD playback, a real plus. Another plus, it uses RF instead of infrared. That means you won't die when someone walks between you and the PlayStation. Recently, controllers for sports games that actually emulate sporting equipment have become a big hit with consumers. This year, Maya Comet introduced Real Feel Baseball and Real Feel Golf. Players swing at the ball, and built-in sensors determine the strength and accuracy of the swing and transmit the results to the game. The MassWorks ID75 touchscreen controller is another new entrant on the controller circuit. Using the touchscreen, the player can easily navigate through option menus in first-person shooters, flight sims, and strategy games. Users can also create custom layouts that simplify their gameplay and improve their odds for success. It's like adding another small monitor to your system. to more traditional PC game controllers with a twist. The GM2 from Satec is a combination action pad and mouse. The right-handed mouse is sturdy and features a multi-directional button on its side. The action pad is a device any first-person shooter fan can appreciate, and here's why. While the mouse is used to look around and fire, the action pad controls movement and actions. The action pad also features special keys that make difficult moves easy. Microsoft also has a version of the action pad called Sidewinder Strategic Commander. It works in much the same way as the Satec, but is designed for real-time strategy games like Age of Empires, Warcraft, and Command & Conquer. Satec also introduced the Cyborg 2000 joystick. This joystick easily converts from right hand to left hand and also adjusts for different hand sizes. Voice chat and voice command are also emerging as a prominent gaming accessory. Microsoft's Sidewinder Game Voice is a stereo headset and control unit that allows a player to voice chat with an entire group or a private team. You can also use it to speak to your games. Sega and Nintendo also showcased voice recognition add-ons to allow the players to command their games too. As the games and the controllers become more lifelike, playing games will become much, much more like actually being in the real world. Maybe you'll never fly a plane or command an army, but your computer will make it almost as lifelike as the real thing.
If Maya Comment has their way, just about anything you can do in the real world will have a specialized controller so you can do it virtually. Coming up on Fresh Gear, what does the future of gaming hold? We talked to the top gaming industry leaders for their vision of gaming in the next 10 years.
We've got to start creating experiences that have emotional depth comparable to books and movies and television.
And my picks for the fun and offbeat from the floor of E3. Welcome back to the floor of E3. We've been talking about how gaming will develop over the next year, but what about the next 5 years? How about the next 10 years? We asked some of gaming's top experts to take a look down the pipeline.
For those of us who grew up with the Atari and other early platforms, the beauty, complexity, and challenge of today's games are almost incomprehensible. Today's eye-dazzling, mind-bending 128-bit graphics show just how far video game technology has traveled in such a relatively short time. How much better can the gaming experience get, and where is it headed? With some of the innovators and brilliant gaming minds of past and present at this year's E3, we thought we'd ask for their visions of the future of gaming.
The tools that we have coming forward in terms of more and more powerful machines, from the PC to all the various consoles that are either out already, such as the Dreamcast, or coming, such as PlayStation 2, Xbox, Nintendo Dolphin, etc., are really going to allow developers to just provide a much more rich environment for players to play in.
Certainly, we're going to be pushing more polys. We're going to be, throwing more colors on the screen. We're going to be, positional sound is going to be everywhere. Multiplayer, as much as I love single player, is going to become a more and more important part of the business.
Online gaming is already a big part of PC games like Quake and Half-Life, but it's making its way to the console market as well.
I believe that will not only provide much more interesting opportunities for players to connect with other real people, which in itself is already a huge level of additional interest that you can put into gaming, but I also think more importantly it'll let a new kind of a new renaissance of experimentation.
Gaming is growing up as an entertainment medium. With movies, it was like permeated the culture and stuff like that. Gaming has always been sort of this thing that those geeks do over there. And now that gaming is growing up and there's sort of the demographics widening and we're having, games that appeal to like people who hunt deer or people that love Barbie, and there's enough computers and there's enough technology and it's permeating our culture such that everybody can do things they like to do as a computer game.
The real innovations, I honestly believe, are going to come down to developers. We've got to start creating experiences that have emotional depth comparable to books and movies and television. We've got to start moving in other directions. And that's a design challenge, not a technology challenge.
That's what we're about, is coming as close as possible as we can to a virtual playground.
And if the current speed of video gaming development is any indication, we should reach that virtual playground in the very near future.
Now I think we'll see fully realized virtual worlds that you can actually visit with your friends, and the ability to actually become someone else. Now, if you think that's a little bit weird, take a look at some of the stuff that I found on the show floor that's a little, well, odd.
New creative and strange ways to interact with your games were all over the E3 show floor. Dance mats and floor pads showed up in numerous booths. G Company's dancing pad lets you boogie to the music, either create your own steps or follow along with the game. Talk about a workout. Another game to get your heart racing is the Samba de Amigo. This new title for the Dreamcast comes complete with maracas and a dance mat. You must shake your groove thing and the maracas to the beat. The Samba is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Originally designed for theme parks and virtual reality theaters, this gaming peripheral is now ready to, well, kick the gaming market's butt. The butt kicker is a low-frequency transducer, which produces shaking and vibrations when playing PC games. You can feel every turn and engine rev.
Now in here is a 3.5-pound free-floating magnet that moves up and down, and that's what kicks your butt.
The butt kicker will be available this summer. Interact's all-in-one accessory kit, the Handy Pack, adds a magnifying lens, external speakers, and bigger control buttons to the Game Boy Color. A joystick adapter and enlarged fire buttons are supposed to make the portable Game Boy easier to use, but we had a hard time seeing the screen. The Handy Pack is cheap, it's only $15, and it is available now.
For more information on those offbeat products or any of the other things you've seen on today's show, head up to our website at freshgear.com. There you'll find our comprehensive E3 coverage with details on all the great games, consoles, and other products we found. Well, that about wraps up our coverage for this week. I'm Jim Lauterbach. Thanks for joining us.